You need to wake up the dead. You need to conjure the parts of you you have been suppressing. You need to raise the vibration. You need to come back home to your body. And the only way you're going to come back home to your body is if you make commitment to conjure up the parts of you that you have been suppressing. The only way you are going to truly embody your power, your light, your gifts is if you make the commitment to conjure yourself, wake yourself back up. We all know what conjuring means. It means to raise the dead, it means to shift the energy in the room. And I want you to make a commitment to your confidence journey, to your self love journey, to your healing journey. But you can only do that if you are willing to conjure your motherfucking self. Okay, what's going down, y'all? All right, I see some of y'all are already here. Hey, 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 hey. So just please confirm in the chat that you can hear me, even if you're watching the recording in the future, okay? Just give me a pow in the chat. Let me know that y'all can hear me and you can see me moving in real time, okay? You can hear me? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Listen, I want to get into the power of what is required to really be a confident person, right? So, what I know is that when people think of confidence, they tend to think of what I call a confidence mascot, right? Especially when we're talking about feeling confident in our body, feeling confident with our sensuality, with our sexuality. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, especially if they identify as a person who's a feminine, powerful being, unfortunately, there's sometimes this pressure to have a mascot. And I want you to know confidence has nothing to do with having a mascot. Okay. If we have any new people in the chat, if this is your first time connecting with me, just put new. If we have connected before, just put OG in the chat and let's get into it. For the new people, my name is Pearl Noir. I'm about to be your sensual Jiminy Cricket. I'm a living burlesque icon, okay? A true living legend, okay? She is the moment. But most importantly, I am the founder of Healing Through Seduction. And today we're about to heal. So if healing is not your vibe, if focusing on your self love journey is not your vibe, I just want you to know this is not the space for you. Now, let's get right on into it. Who do you need to conjure? Is it the little girl who got popped for putting her hands on her hip? Do you need to conjure up the diva who knows how powerful she is, but in order to keep the peace, in order to be the bigger person, she always puts her feelings to the side? Do you need to conjure up the inner child who knows better than to judge their sensuality, the inner child who is inhibited? Do you need to conjure up that inner burlesque queen diva that maybe you didn't know was there? That burlesque queen diva is not afraid to tell herself a new story. What part of your personality have you been suppressing? Once you allow yourself to tell the truth about your role in your own suffering, maybe your role in feeling disconnected, your role in playing down who you are, who your ancestors told you to be, dream after dream, angel number after angel number, whatever part of you you're suppressing, that's the person responsible for your confidence. At any time, if y'all have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. So I want to talk about what's going to happen. This is what I envision for our time together. I want to talk about confidence. I want to guide you through one of the first healing rituals I created for myself, which was my conjuring mirror ritual. And I was really inspired by some of the old burlesque legends that I got a chance to see performing live and watching them recreate, old Hollywood glamour and putting on, makeup and perfume and lotion on stage while looking in the mirror. And I was so captivated by that, especially since for the longest time I hated the reflection staring back at me in the mirror. I grew up in the South where I was told constantly, you're ugly, you're not going to be anything when you grow up, you're too dark. Now, of course, I've lived across the world, I've visited every single place, and I'm actually not that dark. But in the South, I didn't pass what they call the brown paper bag test. And so I was constantly told that I didn't matter. And I knew in order to truly embody confidence, in order to truly embody myself, I had to make a commitment to loving the reflection staring back at me in the mirror. So tell me if this is you in the chat. So a lot of the women that I work with kind of internalize the idea that confidence has to look a certain way. And unfortunately, it's usually a thin woman, it's usually a white woman, it's usually someone who is overtly sexual. Or if you're from the South like me, maybe it's someone who's a brick house. All I know is every time I work with women, there's always at least one person in the group who doesn't believe she has the right body, not the right color of skin, the right hair. So again, coming into the confidence being some sort of mascot. When it comes to your confidence, when you allow yourself to make it some sort of costume, you automatically perform every single day instead of expressing yourself and being authentic. You end up mimicking what you've seen instead of honoring what you feel. And so for a lot of people, they come to me and they're like, I want to work with you, but I want to get back in my body. So I need to dance. I need to move, which is true. There's power in movement. But what we have to remember is we want the movement to be intentional when we're thinking about reclaiming our body, when we're thinking about reclaiming our sensuality, our sexuality. And as long as you have this mindset that your confidence or your sexiness has to look a certain way, that when you start to move your body, it has to look a certain way, you're going to continue to be disconnected. Okay. This is also one of the reasons why when I teach online, I ask everyone to turn their cameras off. If I teach in person, I cover up the mirrors because I want everyone to understand that when we're really trying to get into confidence, get into our body, we have to shift our mindset on what we think it's supposed to look like to be confident, to be sexy. And also, when you have this mascot, when it's sort of this, mask that you're wearing, you're constantly asking yourself, do I look the part? Am I doing it right? It's what I call kind of walking through life doing unnecessary choreography. There's also power in your silence. There's power in being soft. There's power in releasing all of these arbitrary rules. These rules that don't really exist or matter. So, again, those who maybe have just joined, if you want to be confident, you have to be willing to release this idea that confidence has a mascot, that your sexiness is supposed to look a certain way, excuse me, but sexiness is the embodiment of you living in your truth. So I ask you all today, what part of you needs to die? Is it doubt? Is it shame? And what part of you do you need to conjure back up? Anytime I'm starting to feel lost, anytime the fear is too loud, anytime I'm dealing with doubt, I always conjure up the little me. I conjure up the little me who knew Nothing was wrong with putting my hands on my hip. The little me who knew there was nothing wrong with my skin, the little me who knew there was nothing wrong with walking with a switch, with having double D breasts at 11. There was nothing wrong with my body. And that is why the art of burlesque is so powerful when it comes to building your confidence, when it comes to conjuring yourself up. Because for a lot of people, burlesque is about pretending to be someone else. It's about creating a persona, and that's beautiful. But what I teach is what I live. And so burlesque gives you an opportunity to actually tell a real story about who you are. Burlesque gives you an opportunity to bring yourself back home to yourself. It's truly healing. Now, let me get into these comments, okay? Yes, we don't need to have this unnecessary choreography. I am also very happy that you made it to this live. Let me know in the chat if anything is resonating with you so far when it comes to this. And while you all are typing, I want to just get into a little story about why I knew I had to continue conjuring myself. You know, I found myself in New Zealand, the little poor girl from the hood with an all white cat, just me by myself, and seeing my pictures everywhere and feeling so proud of that. And having the white burlesque queens, kind of try to make me feel bad because my image was the one being used for press. My image was the one on a billboard. And feeling so happy that at that point in my life, a hater couldn't touch me. And that's what confidence really is, y'all. It's not being a person who's never afraid. It's not being a person who never cries, who never has doubt. It's a person who's willing to conjure themselves. It's a person who's willing to feed themselves. You know how we have to feed our bodies several times a day and we think nothing of it? But when it comes to feeding ourselves with our healing journey, when it comes to feeding our mind with powerful stories, we think that's being fake, or that's too hard, or I don't have time for that. And we just feel so proud saying it. Well, y'all do, not me. I'm here to tell you to stop that. This is me slapping you, shaking you. We need to bring all of ourselves to the conversation, to the chat, if we really want to be confident. Let's see. I'm so glad y'all are here. Okay, glamour is conjuring myself up. That hits hard. Yeah. And remember, you need to conjure the parts of you that are dead, the parts that are suppressed. And when you think about conjuring yourself up, when you think about bringing yourself out again, you have to make the commitment not to judge yourself, but to take ownership on your role, on the parts of you that have died. Not the man, not your ex, not your toxic family, not the toxic boss. Because home, 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 home has to be your sanctuary. So whatever you have going on in this mind of yours, this throat chakra, this heart of yours, your body, your physical home, you have to take ownership that any doubt, any disconnect that you are experiencing there is not on the man. It's not on society. It's on you. Let me know how y'all feel about that. I'm glad you said all of it is hitting. Perfect. Let me go to my notes. I want to make sure. So I had some people send some questions in. But before we get into the questions, I want to walk you through my conjuring mirror ritual. And again, this mirror ritual was inspired by my love for burlesque, my love for burlesque legends and old Hollywood, and watching, you know, watching 70-year-old women on stage stripping, taking their time, putting on perfume, putting on lotion in front of an audience while we all just sit there and drool. And the confidence that we witnessed, or that I witnessed, wasn't from a perfect body, wasn't from youth, wasn't from perfection. It's just a willingness to be seen and a willingness to be open. And if you're trying to conjure yourself, if you're trying to truly be confident, you have to bring your entire full self. You have to bring every line. Every line on your hand represents your story. You have to bring every chapter in the autobiography. You have to bring a willingness to be seen by yourself. When people think of confidence, it's like, I'm going to take up space. I'm going to be seen by this person and that person. And that can be powerful. But I encourage you to ask yourself, how are you taking up space when no one is around you? How are you taking up space for your inner child? How are you taking up space for the diva, for the higher self, for the future you that's depending on you to show up for yourself right now? The future you is depending on you to show up for your inner child right now. So here's what I want you to do. This is your burlesque healing assignment. Tonight, tomorrow, for 60 seconds minimum. Okay, if you want to give yourself a quickie, 60 seconds. But I would hope you would want to take your time with yourself, the same way you take your time with the Netflix show you're streaming, or doom scrolling on Instagram. Take your time. I want you to grab a compact mirror if you can. If you don't have a mirror, just use your hand. And I want you to breathe in and moan out. And it's important that you moan out instead of just, I want you to, I want you to moan out. I want you to allow your body to hear you making a sound. I want you to allow your body to feel the vibration from your throat chakra. I want you to allow your body to understand, oh, this is a moment of pleasure. This is a moment where we are honoring our desires. And in that moment, the desire is to reconnect to yourself, to conjure yourself. So after you breathe in and moan out a few times, I want you to rub your hands together until they are too hot to touch. And I want you to allow your body to tell you where it needs to be nurtured. And just hold yourself and ask your body for consent. Do I have your consent to explore? Do I have your consent to be confident enough to trust my inner child right now? Do I have your consent, to be confident enough to trust my thoughts, to trust my dreams, to trust my desires, to trust the diva? Can I explore with you and be safe in this sacred space that I'm creating for myself? Do I have your consent to see me? And once you feel like your body is giving you the consent, it's saying, yes, I'm ready. And sidebar, if it says no, don't force it. Come back to it. And if you have a mirror or even your hand, I want you to conjure a part of you that you have been suppressing in the mirror. And so what I want you to do is sort of envision that the mirror, that it's not reflecting you, but there's a version of you that's like, huh, Thank you. I've been dying on you to conjure me. It's like we're rolling up on you. It's like, okay, put me in, coach. And this version of you is kind. Okay. Don't bring the helper that's talking crazy to you now. Okay. Put up 5 in the chat if y'all are still here and you're with me. Okay, and you're gonna conjure yourself, but not the mean one. We're gonna conjure up the nice, kind one. Okay, yes. Okay, you better say that. I'm still using your methods and my diva is thriving. Love this. Okay, thank you, goddess. Okay, we got a 5. Okay, perfect. So we're going to conjure that version up. Now, this is where the power of healing and bringing in healing through an art like burlesque comes in, and it makes it powerful and fun because burlesque is storytelling. So we got to tap get this mind. If we want the connection to the body, we got to bring the mind in, the third eye, the crown chakra, right? The higher self. So I want you to speak to them, tell them your intention. So maybe you're like, my intention in this moment is to be confident before I make this phone call, before I ask for a raise. I want to feel confident before I, okay, I want to honor YouTube's rules. So y'all, fill in the blanks, okay, on what this means for you. I want to be just confident in this moment for myself, right? I want to be confident before I see my family so I can honor my boundaries. Okay, that's one that I always have to do. And once you feel that they are in that mirror and they are saying, yes, okay, we are on board, I want you to seduce your skin with the compact. So take your time just hovering the mirror over your skin, right? And as you hover over, just see what messages you receive from your higher self, from your inner child, from your diva, maybe your spiritual team, maybe your ancestors. And when we think of our ancestors coming in to help us and support us when we're thinking about our healing journey, it's important that we acknowledge the liberated ancestors. It's important that we don't just think that our ancestors were just people who had trauma. That is not the only thing that was passed down. So you want to think about conjuring up the medicine that they used. And so just keep hovering and listening to the messages and ask for support for you to conjure up the parts of you that are dead, the parts of you you have been suppressing. And in that is the part of confidence that I feel no one is talking about. I understand thinking about being confident, thinking about, okay, I'm going to be brave, I'm resilient, I'm not afraid to do anything, I'm powerful. Yes, yes, yes. But what about the vulnerability with yourself? What about having the confidence to cry? What about having the confidence to understand that crying is this healing property that we are not using enough? What about understanding that your tears are orgasmic for you? What about having the confidence to trust the whispers in your ear, understanding that they are anointed whispers? They are divine. These are your ancestors telling you, baby, you ain't got to be a wildest dream. You can be a manifestation of action in this moment. You can be a wild reality. You don't have to be our wildest dreams, but in order to do that, you're going to have to conjure yourself up again. You're going to have to remember your assignment. You're going to have to remember these ancestral gifts that we have passed down to you. Living inside of your body, this is the power of confidence. This is the power of sensuality. Now I went off. Now who was that for? Tell me. I went all the way off. Who was the sermon for? And thank you, ancestors, for allowing me to honor my power. You said me. Okay, not going. Okay, what part was for you? Come on and let them orgasmic tears out. This is confidence. Confidence is about allowing yourself to feel and not numbing yourself. Confidence is about living an orgasmic lifestyle. Confidence is about living a burlesque lifestyle. Yes, having the vulnerability with self. Yes. So that is what I have for y'all today. I want to get into some questions. If you have any, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to look at some of the questions that people sent to me. Now, if you want to get this power going even stronger, feel free to sign up for one of my free resources. I have everything you might need. Okay. If you want to join me live, you can sign up for a free training. You can sign up for I just uploaded this chakra vibration ritual where we use a special massager that vibrates, but not in the, obvious way. I'm going to take you through your different chakras so you can raise your vibration and also connect to your body. Because again, there is power in movement. Don't get me wrong, especially if you're Black, Asian, indigenous, biracial. Our people moved until they were told it was evil. Our people moved. So we definitely want to move, but you want to make sure you move with intention and you understand that connecting to your body is not limited to doing arbitrary choreography in a dance class where you look the part, but you ain't feeling a goddamn thing. Okay. So feel free to get that. I also have a live training coming up this Wednesday. And then, of course, you can sign up for an actual workshop or you can book a consultation. So we have so many options for you. I'm going to go back to my notes and see if there are any questions that came in. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. Really quickly, actually, was this helpful? Do should I be doing this more often? I'm feeling called to do these little short YouTube sermons. I really went off there for a moment, y'all. Honey, the spirit was moving. I am so happy that you are understanding that crying is not weak. But what we have to understand, if we grew up being told crying is weak, it comes from generations protecting. It's like, let me teach the child not to show weakness because showing weakness would get them in trouble. Okay. I think we all understand what I'm saying here and where I'm going with this. But the power in their sacrifices for us is that we don't have to endure the same traumatic lessons and the same traumatic or even toxic coping mechanisms. And we have to understand that the powers that be that created that stigma around us dancing, the stigma around our sensuality, the stigma around us chanting, even speaking of ancestors, the stigma of crying is because there's a need for people to be disconnected. And so crying is another way to have an orgasm, quite frankly. That's the tea. Okay. Okay, so y'all said yes to these YouTube sermons. Okay, perfect, 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 perfect. Okay. I'm also going to, in case y'all are like, girl, I've already signed up for some of your free resources. I'm ready to sign up for a workshop because let me not discount what y'all might got going on. Let me put the T's in here. We've got another workshop coming up on June 14th. And this is where we do what we did today, but we dive in a little bit deeper and I teach you how to use the art of burlesque and self-seduction to heal yourself. Okay. Oh, I love you too. Okay. Do y'all have any questions for me? Let me know in the chat. Let me just look. Let's go through some of the questions that I received. Okay. This one I thought was a very interesting question. What does confidence feel like in the body, not just look like? Let me tell you, confidence in the body feels peaceful. Let's clap for peace. Okay. Even when you're scared, even when your knees are shaking. For example, I will retire the day I stop being nervous. My knees are shaking right now. It doesn't matter. I still have the ease. I still feel the power, right? And so confidence feels like ease, even if you're afraid. Confidence feels empowering. It feels honest. Ooh, that's it. Confidence feels honest. Okay. How do we feel about that, y'all? Let me look at the chat. How do we feel about that? Confidence feels honest. And that's the part we're not talking about when we talk about confidence. It feels honest. Someone asked, what are some signs you're outsourcing your power or you're people pleasing without realizing it? The T is the body always tells you though, but we have sort of been trained to ignore our body, to ignore our intuition, and that is by design. It's all by design. If you teach people to ignore their body, to ignore their intuition, you can manipulate them easy. It's an easier process to manipulate them when they don't trust that their body is saying, I don't like this. So one of the signs is feeling uneasy, feeling stressful, feeling guilt, feeling a knot in your stomach, feeling angry after you've done something. Like that's the tail sign of your body telling you you are people pleasing right now because you have regret. Or you are doing what I like to call kind of trying to get your power from what I like to call emotional surrogates, and you'll just feel it because you'll never be satisfied. Those are some signs for me. Now, this is a beautiful question. Someone asked, how has burlesque helped you repair your relationship with your body? So for me, the first thing I decided to use burlesque for was to fall in love with having dark skin. I loved that I was a powerful performer. When I was being bullied in school, I was always bullied for the way I looked and my skin color and being poor. But when I was dancing and cheerleading, everyone was like, yes, yes, yes. No one could deny that talent or power. But I hated, y'all. When I tell you I hated the way I looked, I hated the way I looked, so much so that I was already saving up money at like 10. What type of money was I really saving up, y'all? That's why I did the air quotes. Saving up money for plastic surgery to change the color of my skin. I was cutting out pictures of biracial girls because I was going to get some surgery. And I'm just laughing because now you can't tell me a goddamn thing about the way I look. Like nothing. You can't tell me anything about the way I look right now. So, and I love being a true queen, right? And when I first started doing burlesque, I said, I'm going to use this art form. Like I just kind of knew. And again, every time I think about it, I'm just was like shocked that everyone else was like performing burlesque to just perform it. I was like, wait, I'm the only one doing rituals up here on this here stage. What's going on here? Why aren't y'all using this art form to heal? So falling in love with the color of my skin was the first way that I used the art of burlesque. And again, I started with my mindset. I started with telling myself I'm a beautiful imperfection. My tears will become rainbows. I deserve to imitate the sun. These were the affirmations I created for myself that I was telling myself over and over and over again. And I would look at myself in the mirror, and it took me a while to believe it. And I didn't stop. And I know a lot of people that work with me, one of the first things they say is, I hate affirmations. It's so fake. I don't want to do it. And I asked them to think about what they're really saying. Like, you hate the idea of being kind to yourself? Let's unpack that. Not judge it, but let's unpack it, shall we? And I just knew, like, oh my God, with burlesque is theater. So I can tell a story. Whatever story I want to tell is going to be true. And I see a lot of women are using it to like, oh, I'm falling in love with my curves, body positivity. And for me, it was deeper. For me, my body positivity journey was falling in love with something I couldn't change. So that is my experience. I hope that this resonated for you all. I also hope that you will go to this here link and grab one of these free resources. There's no harm in having a guide. And so again, what I have for you, you can sign up for a free workshop recording. You can also sign up for a guided meditation, but it's me, so it's not going to be a like, okay, and sit here and put your fingertips together and just sit still. No, I'm like, bring out the vibrators and massagers and let's get into this work. You can also book a 15-minute call with me, which I do suggest actually if you've never worked with me before, booking a call just to make sure that I'm the right teacher for you and that the T's, which is my healing burlesque workshop, making sure that it feels aligned with your goals. What we do in the T's is a two-part workshop. The first half, you're going to learn how to be powerful, be confident, be the art of burlesque, not just do it. So I don't do things like teach an arbitrary dance class because I don't think that's liberating to ask everyone to look the same, to do these movements and then nothing else. So I am going to teach you a burlesque routine, but we are going to strip with intention. Why? Because burlesque is not about showing your body, it's about trusting your body. So when I teach my burlesque, I don't kind of teach it in counts. I teach it the way I perform it, which is instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's I love my beautiful brown skin, right? So having the intention behind the movements. Also teaching you a self-seduction exercise and ritual that you can incorporate into your everyday life, right? So that's the first 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then we take a break. And the second part is optional. What I like to do is let people decide whether or not they want to come back. The second part is where we do the grounding, where we do the journaling prompts. That way you're not sort of having this experience of liberation and an orgasmic awakening on your own. This is where I open the floor for a Q&A. And this is also where I open the floor to see if people want to take up space, right? I use a private platform, or even if I do use Zoom, I tell people to turn their cameras off. So you're minding your own damn business. And it just is more empowering that way. But I give everyone an invitation to come to the floor and live out loud. So hopefully you'll come on through. Let's get into these comments. Oh, I'm glad my messages are always on point. Okay. Now, I feel like I might get off of here very soon because I don't see any questions in the chat. But what I will ask is you do me one little favor. I'm going to upload this recording. Please share it. Those of you who haven't subscribed, please subscribe, please like, please share with loved ones. If this touched you, please talk about it with someone the same way you would run to share some gossip, some tea, something negative. I want you to get in the habit of understanding if you want to reclaim your body, you want to be more confident, be confident enough to share light, which a lot of people are not. Be confident enough to share your light. All right? I think this is it. I feel complete here. How are y'all feeling? Let me know in the chat. We got Shahida. Let me know that I'm saying that right. Alex, Honey Goddess, Carly, Lottie. Okay, we got some G's in here. Oh, G's. Okay. Hopefully y'all will try that that ritual. Oh, okay, good. I got it right. Okay, good. Pow indeed. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And those of you who are on my email list, next week I'll send you out an invitation to join me for a 1 hour Q&A and short ritual. And so be sure to check that out because as you know, I'm not really offering just regular healing rituals anymore. Okay, we're just doing the T's and the 3-month program. So that will be coming to you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can sign up for that. All right. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much. Please, please, please spread the news. Spread the news, y'all. And you see my link for the free resources. Even if you think someone in your life might benefit from one of my free resources, share that as well, please. All right. My goal, I have a mission to create this burlesque healing revolution, and I cannot do it by myself. Okay, so I'm hopeful that y'all will help me honor my mission. Okay, do I ever do burlesque dance classes? Do you mean like traditional classes where the theme is only to think about dancing? If that's what you're asking, no. If you want to learn a burlesque routine with me, but you also understand that I've been here to focus on healing, I became a burlesque icon because all of my performances have been healing this entire time. I have a 95% standing ovation and crying success rate. Some of the people in the chat can confirm for you. When people see me perform, they cry, and it's because I take burlesque to the next level. So just confirm, Carly, is that which, are you asking for a traditional dance class? Like where people are just bumping and grinding and doing burlesque? Because I that's not me. But if you want to come to my style of burlesque, that is the tease. And let me give you the link right now. But let me just confirm that that's what you're asking for. And so, like I said, with the tease, you will learn a burlesque routine, but you should not sign up to work with me if your intention is not to heal, because that's just what's going to happen. I don't know any other way to be. Let me know, Carly. I'm waiting to get your confirmation here. I just want to make sure I lead you in the right direction. Okay, and there's the link for anyone who wants to do a burlesque class with me. But again, understand, my burlesque classes are healing burlesque classes. Why? Because I became an icon, performer, and living legend because all of my performances make people cry and stand to their feet. Why? Because my intention is always to present a healing ritual. So in order to even dance the way I dance, you would have to focus on the healing element. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay. All right, Carly, I think you left. So I'm going to go ahead and go. All right, y'all. I put all the links in the chat. Until next time. Thank you so much, everybody. This was awesome. I'm going to definitely continue to do this. All right, y'all. Mwah. Thank you so much.